Warm temperatures took a turn in the middle of this week. Cold temperatures, plenty of wind, and even a trace of snow landed here in the capital city. Here to undoubtedly share nothing but good news is UNL Extension statewide climatologist Al Dutcher.
Well, folks, here we are again on Friday morning. It's been a pretty wild week as we've seen a pretty good swing in temperatures, as we've seen some warmer air moving in during the weekend, early part of the week, and then we had this pretty significant cold front move through the region and drop some light snowfall across portions of the state, little trace amounts as the further south you got. And of course, we've seen some pretty strong winds, and gusts were in excess of 50 miles per hour across portions of northeastern and east central Nebraska, with sustained winds in the 20 to 30 mile per hour range. We're very fortunate that we didn't have some snow cover on the ground, or we would have probably experienced some blizzard-like conditions. And of course, with the lack of snowfall, our maximum temperatures, even this yesterday where we were only in the low to mid 20s, would have been probably 10 degrees colder. So there's how that snowfall on the ground can really affect the dynamics. And of course, going forward, it's probably going to result in us seeing some above normal temperatures move back in the state over this next 7-day period, as the lack of snowfall simply is not conducive to seeing brutal temperatures. So let's take a look at the upper air models and see what we have in store as we move through this next 7-day period. And as we go to the upper air models, the first thing I'll draw your attention to is this is the remnants of the upper air low that came out of the southwestern United States and then moved up into the Mississippi-Ohio River Valley, and then in combination with the cold front coming through generated some pretty significant moisture across the eastern Corn Belt and some very heavy lake-induced snowfall in Michigan and portions of the Lake Erie portion of the equation, probably Ohio and portions of New York, seeing some pretty significant snowfall. Also for us for today, the only thing we have is this energy pivoting around this low, which may generate some light flurry activity across extreme eastern Nebraska. And we'll be looking at highs in the northeast, probably in the mid-30s. And as we get toward the southwest, as this ridge tries to build in, we'll be looking at highs that will approach in the low 40s. Now, as we move into tomorrow, there is another piece of energy that tries to pivot around, but it looks like it's going to remain east of Nebraska, so most of the precipitation will be across Iowa and points eastward, and we'll start to see this warmer air building in, so a bump up in our temperatures. We'll be looking at the upper 30s across the northeast and probably in the upper 40s across the southwest. Sunday looks to be the best day as we start to get a southwest flow as this ridge moves over the south central portion of the country. We'll see temperatures easily into the 50s across western Nebraska, and we might even approach the upper 50s. Across northeastern Nebraska, we'll probably be looking more in the mid to upper 40s. As we get into Monday, another piece of energy starts to pivot down and drive a cold front through our region, bringing some scattered flurry activity. Temperatures are definitely going to drop. We'll be looking at the mid-30s across the northwest, and across southeast, where the cold front won't come through till the afternoon hours, we'll probably be looking at the mid-40s. Now by Tuesday, we get a pretty good surge of cold air coming into our region. Again, another light snow shot, but nothing significant. We're looking at highs in the mid to upper 20s across the northeast, and probably the same thing across the southwest. Now, as we move into Wednesday, that energy starts to get really jacked up across the eastern portion of the Corn Belt, and we'll start to see ridging starting to move into our region, so boost up in temperatures. Once again, we'll be looking at highs in the upper 20s across the northeast to the low 40s across the southwest, and by the time we get to Thursday, another piece of energy comes through. Light precipitation, nothing significant expected with it. Again, highs in the 30s northeast to the mid-40s across the southwest. 8 to 14-day forecast keeps the warmth to our south in terms of precipitation. A stormy pattern looks to be in store, particularly as we get to the last full week of the month.